In this video, let's talk about Mahomes getting AFC Player of the Week, look at his flexible little ankles, celebrate Travis Kelce's 33rd birthday, look at who was possibly calling the plays against the Bucs, Andy Reid, a potential Lucas Niang return, and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure to sub, like, all that good stuff, and let's get into this video. We have a flurry of things to talk about today, starting with Patrick Mahomes getting AFC Player of the Week. Surprise, surprise. A few quotes from some people today, including the Chiefs senior reporter Matt McMullen. He said this: it marks his 30th career game with 3 or more passing TDs in just 67 total starts, meaning that Mahomes has thrown for 3+ scores in 45% of his games. Those 30 performances with 3+ touchdowns are also the most in the NFL since 2018 by a wide margin. Jordan Foote from Arrowhead Report, I believe it is, he said, through 4 games, Mahomes has led the Chiefs to a 3-1 start and ranks towards the top in the NFL in numerous statistical categories. Among QBs with at least 100 pass attempts, the 27-year-old is tied for first in passing TDs, ranks first in first down percentage, second in passer rating, and is 6th in passing yards. His 82.3 QBR is the best in the league, heading into week 5, ranking 2 points higher than his 80.3 figure in his 2018 MVP winning campaign. Matt Derrick says 4 weeks into the season, and Patrick Mahomes has his 2nd AFC Offensive Player of the Week award. It's the 9th weekly award from Mahomes, the most of any Chiefs player. Also notable, 7 of his weekly awards have come during weeks 1 through 4. And then Harold Kuntz adds this: another fact, since Patrick Mahomes became starting QB, the Chiefs lead the league in wins, 53 points, 2,098, and third down conversions percentage at 49.2. Also was the quickest QB to 20,000 yards. We've talked about that a couple times, but basically Mahomes is next level. And per the words of Andy Reid, we need to enjoy it because players of this magnitude are very rare specimens to watch out on the football field. So hats off to Patrick Mahomes. Hope you enjoy that little award. And let's move on and smash the Raiders. Literally stomp on their very souls. Something else I want to look at with you guys is this graphic that was shared on the Rich Eisen show the other day, and it's Patrick Mahomes versus #1 scoring defenses. His record against them, 6-1. Average points per game, 31. Average passing yards per game, 322.4. 15 passing TDs to 7 interceptions, and a passer rating of 94.3. I mean, this is incredible. Unprecedented times to be a Chiefs fan, and I freaking love it. And I also want to note that Patrick Mahomes has flexible ankles. I'll get to my point, but look at this photo. Thank God for Bobby Stroop, his trainer. So this is right after he lobbed that pass up to CEH in the end zone. He got tackled. Look at that ankle, okay? Doesn't look good in that photo, but he hopped up and was just fine. Bobby Stroop, his trainer, is kind of known for his unique training methods and working on flexibility and exercises and different drills that will strengthen them, but also prepare them for real-life scenarios in the game. This is just one example. He shares a bunch of big words in this, so stick with me, but I thought it was pretty cool as he also shared this video. But he said, proprioceptors set the boundaries for our tissue extensibility and actively affect joint mobility / stability and movement. We have to train for best case while building resiliency and comfort in worst case. In the video, there are a few movements that correlate to the events of the play. We do hundreds of pattern stability movements and incorporate isometrics, perturbation, and basic range of motion and intent into each. Basically, thank God for Bobby Stroop. He's really good at taking all this stuff that's smart that I don't understand and applying it to Patrick Mahomes' game. You gotta freaking love it. Speaking of things that you gotta love, Travis Kelce, we all love him. He turned 33 years young today. He is an absolute legend, well on his way to his 7th consecutive season in a row with 1,000+ receiving yards. The man, the myth, the legend, the greatest duo of all time with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Happy freaking birthday to that man. From here, I want to share some Buccaneer news, and you'll understand why when I start sharing some of this. Shaq Barrett backtracked on his previous comments. He told reporters that he didn't see much difference in KC's offensive line from 2020 to now, and that the Bucs had an opportunity to dominate the game with a sort of coming out party. And as we know by now, that did not happen. Now, Barrett tried to walk back some of what he said on Wednesday. He said, quote, "I wasn't trying to send any shots at anybody or anything like that. They came out and did what they were supposed to do to get the win. The way I laughed a little gave it a little bit of a bad vibe." Barrett then said, "I would have never guessed we'd give up 41 points at any point this year. That hurts as a defense, as a team. We pride ourselves on good defense and wanting to be one of the best units in the league. Giving up 41 points diminishes that argument. So yeah, maybe next time, Shaq Barrett will shut his little mouth and just do the workout on the field and not assume that the Chiefs of this year were the same as the Chiefs in the Super Bowl 2020. Literally, think of Keanu Reeves, the replacements, but worse. That's the Chiefs O-line. Not the same, bud, and you learned it the hard way." And now he's backtracking on his statement, saying, "Yeah, I laughed and that made it sound a little mean, a little bad vibe-ish, but it was. And you got owned." Now, more Buccaneers news. Wide receiver Cole Beasley retired. He got dominated by the Chiefs, was on the Bucs for a whole 2 games, and was like, "You know what? Screw this. I am done." Per Tom Pelissero today, he said Bucs wide receiver Cole Beasley has decided to retire effective immediately. His agents Joel and Justin Turner tell me that, quote, "He's ready to be with his family after playing in 11 seasons, and it's time to be a full-time dad and husband." So, during the game, receiving, Cole Beasley had 1 target for 5 yards. Got spanked and was like, "I'm done with this. Forget that." Well, he's had a long career. Hats off to you. But it's just interesting that the Chiefs would send him home and packing. Another person that should have been home and packing last season, but said, "Screw that," changed his mind, unretired. Tom Brady, you know, the old man himself, going through some drama at home. We're not here to talk about that, but he did miss practice today due to a right shoulder and right finger injuries. And that right shoulder is due to L'Jarius Sneed trying to rip it off during the game, forcing that strip sack. Good freaking times. And I want to also show you this. This was after the game. The legend himself, Chris Jones, greeting Tom Brady. And here's a little bit of what they had to say.
"Brady, hell of a game, man. Hey,
game, Chris. If this is your last time, you enjoy things. I feel the same way, brother.
That's a pleasure.
We've always had a lot of fun together.
Hey, bro."
So yeah, the conversation continues, but the rest of that convo was behind the NFL's paywall, and I ain't paying it. So who knows what else they said, but he probably told Brady what he called Matt Ryan last week, and Brady laughed. So that's confirmed that it was rigged. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I do want to continue down this Chris Jones rabbit hole. He's having an incredible season. We all know he's been that guy, but the contract year is basically undefeated, and I'll get to that in a second. Chris Jones has the 2nd highest overall grade via Pro Failure Focus at 90.8, only second to DJ Get Your Readers. He's 4th in tackles with 15, 3rd in QB hurries with 11, 3rd in his run grade at 83.5, 3rd in his pass rush grade at 86.7, and most of these at the moment are also higher than Aaron Donald. And he's also at the top, the tippity top, number 1 in pass rush win rate, say that 5 times fast, of all defensive tackles in the league. Aaron Donald in 2nd. So he's dominating. Contract year stays undefeated. Yes, he has 2 years left on his contract technically, but a cap hit of $27 million next year. Actually, it's $27,041,666. It ends in 666. Who let him book that deal? Bad idea. Bad vibes. But anyway, what's going to happen to Chris Jones next year is they're either going to extend him or trade him. And if he keeps playing like this, stays healthy, I think they're going to extend him. He is our defensive line, and very grateful for that man. So he's continuing to ball out, and I'm very grateful for that. And speaking of people who are balling out, we got to give praise. We got to give props where it's due. I know some of you were not happy that I said, hey, left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. is struggling, not doing so well. Some of you called me mean. Some of you said I'm not a real Chiefs fan. Well, I'm just looking at facts and going to shoot it straight. That's what we do here on this channel. I do want to give props in particular, though, to the interior trio of the offensive line. They're absolutely incredible. Look at some of these offensive line stats. They are first in run block win rate at 76%. Yeah, first. And that's largely due in credit to the O-line, specifically the trio, as I've been saying. For example, Joe Thuney, the 4th best guard, tied for 2nd at 98% at pass block win rate, and is 2nd at a run block win rate of 80%. Then you have center Creed Humphrey leading the pack of centers around the league by quite a bit with a run block win rate of 86%. I mean, absolutely incredible. These guys are some freaking ballers. And on the subject of the O-line, Lucas Niang is now eligible to return to practice. He suffered a patellar tendon tear back in week 17 of the 2021 NFL season. Charles Goldman says this about Niang's return. Should Niang return to practice, a 21-day practice window will open. He'll be permitted to practice with the team, and if they deem him healthy enough, he can be activated to the 53-man roster from the reserve/PUP list. But if he doesn't get activated once that 21-day window is up, he'd be placed on season-ending injured reserve, and some people have been wondering where he is, me included, because I've heard absolutely nothing about that guy. It's been crickets, ghost quiet. Speaking of ghost quiet, crickets, all that, Trent McDuffie, the cornerback, he can technically come back next week from injured reserve. I haven't heard much on him, and I think Blake Bell can come back this week as well, but haven't heard much on him either. I don't think he's coming back. So the question is, will Lucas Niang come back? And if he does, will he be the starting right tackle? What do we think here? I'm not 100% sure, but it's worth at least keeping tabs on. And another player worth keeping tabs on would be running back Derek Gore, who I believe fractured his thumb during preseason, one of the preseason games, can't remember, but the Chiefs ended up reaching an injury settlement with him and they released him. He's a free agent. Well, there was a little video today on his Instagram story of him doing PT on his thumb, and it looks like he's getting better, and it's rumored when he gets better, he could sign to the team's practice squad. He knows the playbook, the coaches, all that good stuff, and he would be very good running back depth, especially with, Jerry and Ely suspended for 6 weeks for violating the league's substance abuse policy with performance-enhancing substances. Now, what I'm getting at with Derek Gore is this. Once Derek Gore's back, we can then see what the Chiefs are going to do with running back Ronald Jones, who was on the 53-man roster but has not suited up for a single game. He's basically insurance in case McKinnon, Isaiah Pacheco, or CEH get injured. But I surmise that once Derek Gore comes back, gets signed to the practice squad, that Ronald Jones could see himself out of here. I don't know if that would be a trade or what could happen. Now, I do like Ronald Jones. I think he would fit well. But Derek Gore has been here for a few years and knows the system really well, and we know he can work well within the scheme. So I would actually think Derek Gore would get the nod over Rojo. Now, I don't think that means Derek Gore is going to get signed to the 53, but it could mean Ronald Jones could go bye-bye. We'll have to just keep tabs on that and see how it goes. Now, speaking of seeing how things are going, Chris Sims had an interesting observation about the Chiefs and Bucs game. He believes Andy Reid was the one calling plays last Sunday night and not Eric Bieniemy.
On the broadcast, it looked like Andy Reid was calling all the plays. Is he taking it into his own hands because Eric Bieniemy can't attack shell coverages? Ooh,
it's a great question. It's something I noticed during the game too. I had some NBC people before the game go, who calls the plays? And I said, well, this year Bieniemy's been calling the plays. And then we started the game, and I went, I think Andy's calling the plays today. And then, of course, we showed another clip of him on NBC, and he was covering his mouth. I'm like, damn, Andy's calling the plays. So big games, Andy has been known to take over. Maybe he hasn't liked the total rhythm of the offense. Listen, I don't think the plays change a whole lot, but you always hear me about great play callers have a feel for the other guy. They know how to tie the plays together. Nothing against Eric Bieniemy, but he has a little magic there. And they have a great committee anyways, but it did seem like Andy Reid was calling the play.
Well, isn't that interesting? Chris Sims basically said, hey, I think Andy Reid was calling the plays. I think he took reins. He took control from what I could tell. Now, he could be mistaken, but it's definitely something worth considering and talking about after all that. My biggest knock of Eric Bieniemy has not been his abrasive coaching style, the passion, anything like that. It's just been this. Andy Reid is the offensive genius, has been for many, many years. Eric Bieniemy's here, yes. Former running back coach, has been with Andy Reid for a while. But the question always is, how much say does he have on the offense? How much is he really calling the plays? Supposedly he's been calling the plays all season. But when the offense started to stall out, i.e. against the Colts, Andy Reid said, screw that, took the reins back and righted the ship. Now, That's allegedly. That's a bit of hearsay, but that's Chris Sims talking about it. Made me think about it. Wanted to pass the question off to you guys. Do you think this could be the case? Or, nah, Eric Bieniemy deserves the credit. After all, he's been the offensive coordinator since Patrick Mahomes has been the starter. So, the 4 AFC championships, 2 Super Bowls, 1 win, all that. All of the credit doesn't just go to Andy Reid and Mahomes. Eric Bieniemy's got to take at least a third of the puzzle, third of the pie. Let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments down below. We're going to talk about this in more detail in a different video. I'm bringing on a guest to talk about it, but still wanted to pass the question off to you guys, and definitely let me know your thoughts on that. Definitely say happy birthday to the legend, Travis Kelce. Let me know your thoughts on a potential Derek Gore return, Lucas Niang return. Let me know your thoughts on Cole Beasley being forced into retirement, Shaq Barrett backtracking on his thoughts, all that in the comments. Let's fight about it now and there per usual, because I'm here for all the freaking smoke. Make sure to leave a super thanks or bearded comment to potentially be featured in an upcoming vid. Sub, like, you know the freaking deal. Then check out this video here, pew, pew, which is the full interview of Chris Sims talking about the Chiefs last Sunday night versus the Bucs. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?